Hello, my name is Debo Adejana. I'm a real estate entrepreneur and also the MD of Realty Point Limited. In the episode today, I'll be sharing with you on how to deal with some Omo Onile wahalas. The people we call Omo Oniles are traditional land holding or owning families. In this part of the world, the southwestern part of Nigeria, we call them Omo Onile. So we can say that we'll be dealing with how to undo some traditional land owning families issues or challenges when transacting on land. I'll be right back. You're welcome back. So, as I said earlier in this episode, we'll be talking about how to undo some Omo Onile wahalas, land owning family issues when transacting business with them. Okay? When I was growing up in the part of Nigeria that I grew up, I used to see signage, all over the place. Signages all over the place, plot of land, because I happened to live some of my growing up years in a place that was just developing. So around the vicinity, I always see this signage: military zone, keep off. Military zone, keep off. I didn't know what that meant earlier, until later on we realized that, what it means is that this land is owned by a military personnel or somebody that has connection with military personnel, because it transited from just being owned by military personnel to people who have connections with military personnel, who will then put that signage there so that the Omo Oniles will not bring their antics on the land. As in to say that they are known for selling to you and still selling to somebody else if you are not building or doing anything on the land. And even in cases where you've done some things on the land, they will still go ahead and sell to another person. So they became very notorious, and for military people not to get involved, they used to threaten them with that fact. And they dreaded that, but only for a while, because later on it really made no difference. I've seen them deal with anybody really, more or less like they deal with everybody. Well, be you a military person or not, they just continue with their shenanigans, if you must say. So, how do you handle this kind of challenges? What are they known for doing? Okay, there's this other experience that we had in one of our transactions somewhere in the northern part of Nigeria, actually FCT to be precise. Whilst we were negotiating on this transaction, we went to site, we viewed it and all. There wasn't any problem, but we just realized that soon after we concluded transaction, we paid and all, we realized that the land was cleared and then cashew nut was planted. And all of a sudden, the place became a cashew nut farm. What was going on was that we were approached when we wanted to start work that we cannot until we pay compensation for their cashew nuts, because we're going to be destroying their cashew nut. And these were the traditional land owning families. Even in FCT, where we know that all the land, as it were, was acquired by government and planned and allocated and sold by government. But you see, these traditional landowning families still come back to ask the people who want to work on the land for compensation. And in most cases, the arrangement has become a nuisance even to governors, such that the government authorities or quarters will tell you that, hey, go and settle with them. Okay, so how do you deal with some of the things, some of their antics? And what are those really? One is that, like I said, they can resell your land. That is most common, okay? Then two, they will come to you asking for money for one thing or the other. If you want to start your work, they would ask for a particular sum of money. If you want to roof, if you want to do foundation, they would ask for money for the youths in the village, money for the elders in the village. They would ask for money for all manner of things. Now, in most developed areas, what has happened now is that even you, as the owner of the house, if you want to renovate your property, you will pay them. They are almost like a government unto themselves, local government, as it were. They will come and demand for payments, and they are so organized. And you'll be shocked to what extent this organization, has reached. They are so organized, such that if you really want to take the matter up and say probably you are reporting to maybe police or whatever, you'll be shocked the grounds that these guys have covered and how they can still win the case wherever you take it to. So I tell people, number one rule in dealing with Omo Onile, if you have to buy from them, because sometimes we have to buy from them. It's not all the time that you may probably get a company to buy from or an individual that already bought from them and all. Sometimes you may have to deal with them directly. Now, these are some things you must pay attention to. Number one, basic guiding rules. Since I started real estate over 14 years ago, I've come to know this. I go by this rule. I don't believe whatever it is that any Omo Onile tells me. It's unfortunate, but from my experiences, that is what I've come to operate by. I don't, in fact, if an Omo Onile tells me A, I have the tendency to think that it is B until I cross-check to see that it is A before I take him by his word. So you don't take an Omo Onile by their words. They lie for a living. It's like that is the way they live, okay? They lie for a living. So you don't take them by their words. When they tell you A, know that it's likely B. Operate by that rule and you will be guided. Number two, when you have to buy land from them, properties from them, make sure that you have enough money to take care of the two most important aspects of real estate transaction. If you've been listening to my episode, if you've subscribed to this YouTube channel, you will know that we've dropped previous episodes where we've talked about interesting and important things. One of the things we talked about in one of the episodes is that there are two major important things in real estate transactions. You may describe it as the two sides of the same coin. So there is the documentation and there is the possession. Lawyers will tell us that possession is 90% of ownership. So I tell people who have to deal with Omo Oniles, have enough money to buy the land, plus to take possession and to do your documentation. Meaning that, taking your documentation to having your CFO, have enough money, enough resource to do that when you are buying from them. Why? Possession, because you need to take hold of what it is that you are buying from them. And possession, depending on the degree of their madness, as it were, in that territory, okay? Just fencing it around may be enough possession. You do farming there, may be enough possession in another. Just digging a well may be enough possession in another place, okay? However, in some other places, it may require that you actually build a structure there, however small, and put someone there living there for them to take their eyes off it. We've had situations where we bought larger expanse of land, and because they see it as vacant, we always have to deal with their issues almost, every year. You can imagine what that causes, okay, for an organization. And that is the challenge. So, have enough money to take possession, whatever degree of possession is required in that place, depending on how notorious they have become. Okay? Number two, have enough to commence your documentation. So you have enough to do your survey, to get a registered survey, to file in for your necessary things that you need for your CFO processing, okay, with the government authorities. Have enough to do that. Very, 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 very important. Number three, okay, and I'll just be dropping just about 4 in this episode. It's not exhaustive, so there are other things that you can do. Number 3, I will drop here. Now, for the monies that they charge and all of that, I usually encourage you to, whilst you are negotiating to buy in any place, look around, nose around, ask around, who is the kingpin of the land-owning families. Now, they have almost like 2 parallel operations. They have the family hierarchy, who are the babas and or who probably you would have to deal with when paying for the land itself. Okay? But amidst them, it's more or less like a committee or a mix of people. So you have the elderly ones, you have the family head, you have the secretary and all of those things. Among those people, you will notice that there is usually a young chap. That young chap or the young ones among them will point you in the direction of their other arm that I call the foot soldiers or the militia arm. I mean, sometimes they can be that bad. Okay, the foot soldiers, they will be pointers to them. Look for who is the kingpin of the foot soldiers and go negotiate with them up front. Don't, you see, when you move to sites and they come and meet you, you will be held to ransom. Okay? So, to avoid that, before you are ready to move to site, you go as a gentleman. They usually appreciate it when you kind of give them that reverence, as it were, and negotiate with them beforehand. You will get to enjoy benefits. I mean, get to be given huge discount depending on the negotiation skills, because then they see you as a friend. That is how you can make them see you as a friend. Now, some people would say this is probably condoning what is not good, but the truth of the matter is that the system we found ourselves, until our laws and our justice systems, okay, and the rule of law and order is enshrined, okay, becomes part and parcel of the way we live in this society again, this may be your window in dealing with these guys. That's the truth. So it's not for wanting to promote any whatever. It's just how it is. Okay? So look for the kingpin, negotiate with him before you are ready to move to site, make him your friend, and it will be easy for you. So, and negotiate in bulk. That's another thing. Don't negotiate that I just want to do my foundation, how much do I pay? No. Negotiate that for my foundation, for everything. Okay? For my roofing, for all. What do you guys charge? Okay, this is how much I will pay. You know, we are and all of that. I mean, as you can negotiate. Pay them and get your evidence for the payment. With that, all they will do when you are doing your transaction or when you are constructing or on site, working on site, is to just come and greet you, say hi, look at how the work is going. Otherwise, when you move to site on your own, they will just come, they will target when your people must have, they have some maybe concrete mix going on, and then they come and stop everybody and all. You go to the police, go to everywhere, and then you realize that, hey, you've wasted materials for that day, you've wasted time, and you will still have to negotiate with them. So I say, pick who the kingpin is, go beforehand and negotiate with them. The last tip I will drop, okay, is that a lot of times we tend to think that force would deal with the situation. And I can tell you that force has its role to play. But I would warn you, if you want to use force, use the force that you can sustain till the very end. Okay? Otherwise, be careful and be wise in your application of force. They need for you to apply force at some point. But you see, learn how to play the good cop and the bad cop game with them. Apply force, sub-pedal for negotiation, apply force so that they know that you are not an easy prey. That is the essence of force. But know that you still have to negotiate so that you can have good negotiation. You can be at an advantage during negotiation. Yes, if you can use force, be ready to use it, but know that it's not the force you want to use forever, especially if it is the place you want to stay. Because for these people, they don't mind to die. I've seen people who have access to the use of force to any limit come to realize that they cannot use force in this place, especially if it is where you want to live. You don't want to do that. So you will still have to blend that with a lot of negotiation and your relational skills. So, advise people, don't think that force all the way, okay, will do it. And also, don't ever go there like a softie, begging and all. No. If you need to use force, if they are being unreasonable at any point, introduce force. But introduce it in a way that you can still recall Okay, so use the tactics. Okay, maybe you have somebody who uses force, and then you go as the person who mediates and all of that. If you can introduce somebody else into the transaction, like a partner or stuff like that, it helps. Or maybe your wife or the husband, between the wife and the husband, you can play the good cop, bad cop game with them. So that is the fourth one I would like to drop. I hope that you've catched some things that you can use, okay, in dealing with the Omo Oniles. If you have any other issue, that's what we do. That's why we exist. I would encourage you to get in touch with us. If you have comments, please drop it in the comment section. We would interact. We will engage with you from there. If you've been watching this video and you've not subscribed, I will encourage you, please, whatever you do, subscribe down below to our YouTube channel. What that does for you, and click the notification button, because what that does for you is that you get notified every time we drop video. You are one of the first to know about it and to come feeling it. Watch out for a lot of other interesting things that we do. Our real estate online course is on now. So if you want to be trained from anywhere in the world, want to know one or two things about real estate, particularly as it concerns Nigerian real estate situation and environment, hey, get on to School of Estate, schoolofestate.com/online. Okay, schoolofestate.com/online. Go on there, okay, and get a piece of the action. Take any of the courses for you to be better as a real estate person. Till I come your way another time, please follow me on my social media handles: Instagram, Debo Adejana; Twitter, Debo Adejana. I remain yours sincerely, Debo Adejana, in the business of helping you sack your landlord.